Kelly Hrudey is the color analyst for Calgary Flames telecasts on Sportsnet, also seen on Hockey Night in Canada. Previously 3 years, WHL as goaltender for the Medicine Hat Tigers. Afterward, a storied 15-year career in the NHL and a berth in the 1993 Stanley Cup Final with the Los Angeles Kings. Kelly, great to have you. Why was the WHL so helpful with the development of your career?
You know, I look back fondly upon my time there because, I think when, back then, for me anyways, I was trying to prepare for hopefully an NHL career, and the best route for me was the Western Hockey League because of the number of games that you play. So, and I'm not being dismissive at all towards any of the other leagues out there, but most of them don't play as many games as the Canadian Junior Hockey League. And what I really found, in particular, in my time in the National Hockey League, if I happen to be really tired or maybe feeling a little under the weather, didn't have the energy, or maybe lacking a little bit of interest from time to time because it's a lot of hockey and you have other things going on in your life, that I would draw upon my time in the Western Hockey League and how you have to sort of drag it out of yourself sometimes. And the schedule was grueling. Back then, I think for my 3 years, I played somewhere around 55 or 60 games all 3 years. And so you can expect in those times that I didn't feel great every night, but it doesn't matter. You still have to play. So whether it's playing your third game in 3 nights on the road with some travel, or on maybe a long Western road trip that we would have had from Medicine Hat, and maybe only getting a couple days off on the entire trip. So, you have to find a way to get that out of yourself, and I was able to do that, learn how to do that a little bit in the Western Hockey League and apply it to my time in the National Hockey League, where same sort of thing. You might feel a little bit less energetic that night. You have to find a way to play well because people are paying now and they deserve a good performance, and other things. Maybe you're in your 10th year and you're maybe lacking a little bit of motivation. You have to sort of manufacture that, and if you play a lot of games, you learn how to do it really well.
From what you've seen, being around the environment, what kind of development in place does Calgary give Dustin to excel, possibly?
Yeah, I just want to make it clear to your listeners that even though I'm a Flames broadcaster, I'm not a part of their organization. I'm not paid by them, so this is, I hope, completely unbiased to look at it.
Sure.
So the one thing I'm really impressed with from the Flames standpoint is how they're fully invested in the development of their young players. So if you're a young player, you're drafted or undrafted for that instance, you can, if you don't make the big team, you can still have a great NHL career down the road if you have to start in the American Hockey League and or at one of the leagues below that, because they're very patient. I've noticed that for a lot of years here with the Flames, that if you can't make their team and if there's no spot for you in the American Hockey League, then they don't look at you as you're a failure and that you're never going to play. So they allow everybody to develop at their own pace, whether it's a skater or a goaltender. And I think that in Dustin's case, they also had an organization that was really open-minded, because it has been it kind of pains me over the last bunch of years when I talk to people in the hockey industry, and they're telling me their team doesn't even look at a goalie unless he's 6'3" or 6'4" or taller. And I didn't find that right. Now, I have never watched Dustin play, but I think he's about 5'11", ballpark 160 pounds, so he might fill out a little bit weight-wise as he gets older, but I still think a guy that size can play. And the reasons why, and there are a bunch of them, for my opinion, is that I find it to be that some of the big, tall guys don't move quite as well. But the number one thing is that just because you have size and maybe a little bit of athleticism, it doesn't mean that you can read a play. And to me, that's the biggest reason a guy will stay in the National Hockey League for a number of years, because he has that asset, and that quality takes you a long way, because I've watched a lot of big goaltenders over the years, big and tall, a little bit of athleticism, but can't read a play, and so you can't stay in the league very long.
How important is the hybrid type of game to a goalie's success, no matter what day and age, even today?
Yeah, and I'm glad. I'm seeing some changes. So 7 years ago, the default that every single goalie had when a player was in a shooting position quickly dropped to their knees. And it didn't matter if you're an undersized goaltender or a tall guy. That was their number one default. And, I'm really, it's really refreshing to me to see how some goaltenders are getting information from the goalie coach. And, hey, you know what? Part of this is on you. You can read the play and you can read the situation. If that means staying on your feet a little bit longer, then so be it. I believe it's Dave Pryor in Vegas. And I'm not quoting him, but he said something like this. He wants to work with goalies, and he's the goalie coach in Vegas. He said something like, I want to work with goalies that are brave enough to stay on their feet a little bit longer than other people. And it's so true. And yeah, you're going to play on your knees quite a bit because that's how the position's played now, and they're well protected. But I think there are many situations where a goaltender can stay on his feet a little bit longer and or make a rare stand-up save, and they'll be better off.
As far as reading the game, how important is that to a goaltender's success?
It's the number one quality. Like I said, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you can't understand what the player's options are, for instance, virtually on every play, let's say the puck carrier is coming at me, I always considered usually at least two other options that he might have other than shooting the puck. And then sometimes when you're playing against the very best, like in my case, if I would have had to have been up against Mario Lemieux or Wayne Gretzky or players of that caliber, then in Wayne's case, you have to expect the other four guys on the ice could be dangerous, even if they didn't have the offensive flair that other guys had. But he put them in such a great quality shooting position that it made the less dangerous players really dangerous. And that would apply to today's game. So if you're a goaltender and you're playing against Washington, well, if Nick Backstrom has the puck, that not only is Ovechkin dangerous, but the other three players on the ice. So, you have to make sure that you understand that, and it takes a lot of time to really come up with this and really observe what's happening all around you, in front of you, and really take stock of what that player is trying to accomplish when he has the puck.
I'll throw some names at you. Jonathan Quick, Carey Price, Mika Kiprusov. In your eyes, the best goaltender under 6'3" since you retired is who?
Holy cow. I know Jonathan Quick won the 2 Stanley Cups, but, I would have to put Price and Kiprusov right in that same category. I mean, those three, wow, what good choices. So they're not really completely undersized. I think all three of them were right around 6'1". But in today's game and age, that does seem kind of small. But all three a little bit different, but one quality they all have is they can read a play. Now, you look at Carey Price and Kiprusov, very similar bodies, and they work hard at their conditioning. But I look at Jonathan Quick, and he's a little bit different. So if you ever had the chance to see Jonathan Quick in his street clothes, like in a suit or something, the first thing you notice is how powerful his legs look. And he's famous for working out, especially on his lower body, and to make sure he has that power, because what you really recognize about Jonathan Quick, everybody does, is this great lateral movement, and he wouldn't be able to generate that without an extremely powerful lower body, and that's one difference he has from those other two guys.